I read this excerpt from Twitter that I'm still laughing about. Not sure if this is true, and now that the episode is published, it's probably old news, but check it out. Elon comes down and he walks over and he picks up a package of Pop-Tarts. And the funniest thing to me is that most of us take Pop-Tarts for granted. He was transfixed. This was like a scene out of 2001, A Space Odyssey, when the apes examined the monolith. It was clearly the most fascinating thing he had seen that morning. Eventually, Musk realizes that Pop-Tarts were best enjoyed toasted. So, he opened a package and put 2 of them in the toaster. Only Musk made the rookie mistake of inserting the pastries horizontally rather than vertically.
Dude, which is a mistake every single person listening to this podcast has made.
We've all done it once. When they popped back up, he had to stick his fingers into the toaster to grab his breakfast. This was a problem, and about 6 a.m, Musk proceeded to scream at full volume, "Fuck, it burns! Fuck, it burns!" 2 older ladies at the front desk nearby watched in mortified silence.
Remember that I said that all of us have made that mistake? That was none of our solutions to that mistake. Nobody was like,
Dude, you just shake the toaster, or like you turn it sideways and like kind of fish it out. I mean, we got to give him credit where credit's due. He didn't use a fork with the plugged-in toaster.
Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on who you are. But, yeah.
Yeah, like, why do this, though? If I were him, I would just let other people deal with my food. So, now that we all remember who Elon is, let's pick up where we left off and observe as this man becomes one of the richest men in history.
Yes! So for those who don't remember, we ended our last segment with Elon sitting on a big pile of money from PayPal's sale to eBay in 2002. And in this piece, we're going to use 3 of the companies that Elon invested his winnings in to tell this middle part of our story. Now, we're taking this approach for 2 reasons. First, there is so much concurrently happening in this man's life around this time that to try to tell this thing chronologically would be just an absolute fucking nightmare. And secondly, we feel like all of these ventures are almost like extensions of Elon. There's so much causality back and forth between the story of Elon and the story of these companies that we can just learn so much about who Elon Musk is through the stories of these ventures. So, we're back to our tale, and we're zooming down from a bird's eye view to a dimly lit office. And here we have our Elon, soundly sleeping on a ratty couch. As he tells it, he has just poured all of his money into 3 ventures. $10 million into Solar City, $70 million into Tesla, and $100 million locked away in SpaceX.
And, all right, let's be real for a second. He doesn't do this.
No, he does not. He does not do anything close
In
to
fact,
this.
we doubt he has ever slept on a couch or on the office floor out of necessity. This has always been for the PR. His hair begins magically growing back in like 2002. He's not hurting for money. He's fucking rich, even after getting involved with these companies.
He's not like casually rich. He's fuck you rich at this point.
Yeah.
Like this bit, this thing that Rad Bill is referring to is part of his I did what no one else would dare to do, so I deserve these rewards in a way that no one else could, which is wrong.
If you're considering starting a business, don't listen to Elon at all here.
Nope.
The whole point of him saying this shit is to craft a story where he gets the impossible reward by doing the impossible thing. This is all made up.
Yep.
Initially, for Tesla, he spent $6.5 million. That's what was up front.
As opposed to the $70 million that he says that he spent.
Yeah, he summarizes this story and uses the brevity to miscommunicate what actually happened. He says, yeah, I sold PayPal and I turned around and I put $70 million into Tesla. I put $100 million into SpaceX and I put $10 million into Solar City. The $10 million into Solar City was the initial investment. He was the chairman of the board for that company. That was really the extent of his involvement for a long while there.
Yep.
Tesla, the initial investment, $6.5 million. $70 million is spent over a long while. He has money in hand.
Yep.
And then the $90 million into SpaceX were not really 100% sure, but if he locked it all away as seed money, he's got 60 million, a little over 60 million with those other two initial investments.
Yep.
He is fine.
Yes, absolutely. So being that SpaceX is Elon's first foray back into business after selling to PayPal, let's start there. Rad Bill, I'll let you do the honors.
So, to provide some context, we're going to have to wind the clock back a year to 2001 when Musk became involved with Mars Society, a nonprofit. Here, he aspired to help fund an effort to place a growth chamber for plants on Mars. This is peak Elon Musk. He says he wants to be a superhero, leading humanity to broader horizons with all of this magnificent money as his superpower. So to get the ball rolling, he travels to Russia with Adeo Resi. We're murdering your name, Adeo. I bet it's something like Ada or something. And Jim Cantrell, who he's going to fire soon, to buy refurbished intercontinental ballistic missiles. How are weapons of war bought from a pseudo-terrorist state going to further his cause, you ask? What? We don't know.
I don't know.
We have no idea. However, while over there, Elon ran into a little snag. You see, Musk showed up dressed like the tech CEO that he was. Badly. He was dressed like shit. Musk's attire was apparently viewed as a sign of disrespect by the Russians, and a Russian engineer spit on Musk's shoe. That part's real, actually. I've got multiple accounts verifying that. He got spat on by a Russian engineer.
No, his shoe got spat on.
Yeah.
Dude, if somebody spit on my shoe in, like, anger, I really don't know how I would react to that.
Well, physically, like, spit in the face is disgusting.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's so much less degrading than spit on your shoe.
Yeah, like, spitting on my shoe is like, instead of flicking me off in traffic, giving me a thumbs down sign.
You just feel like it's shortening your life marginally when you see that.
Yeah.
So, this Russian spits on Musk's shoes. And according to former NASA Deputy Director Lori Garver, Musk's disruptor mentality and lack of deference toward the traditional industry often had a similar impact on NASA and White House workers. This is why Elon Musk lost his fucking mind. It's this constant repurposing of the idiotic decisions he's made. Elon wasn't the guy wearing a t-shirt trying to buy weapons from the Russians. He was the brilliant innovator, unaware of the stuffy old precedent.
Yeah. And to your point, wearing a t-shirt to buy missiles from Russian people, it's just a mistake. There's no spin there. It's just not something that you should do.
So the way people tell it is that this shoe spit is the catalyst for SpaceX. But it isn't. In fact, Musk came back 4 months later in February of 2002 to try buying missiles again. He and Mike Griffin met with Cosmotros, Russian companies have such cool names, who offered to sell them one ICBM for $8 million, which Elon thought was too expensive.
Okay, so now that we have a little bit of background into what led up to Musk wanting to play astronaut, let's bring our story back to 2002, where Musk is officially starting space exploration technologies. Now, Rad, I'm sure that he had some kind of background in rocket propulsion, or at least some kind of connection to a person he could hire to run a space company, right?
So this is weird because I'm not even 100% sure he has any degree at all. But supposedly he taught himself rocket science.
Oh?
So we've got that going for us. This is like Kim Jong-un level bullshit. So now he's the CEO and CTO and chief designer at a space exploration company. So time to build a rocket.
Cue the montage. In 2003, the team gets to work. Elon is the mastermind, so he gives everyone the vision.
Make it pointy, that will be funny.
And then, because he doesn't have time to do silly tasks like engineering or design, he masterfully delegates, telling all the ladies on the team,
You should smile more.
and because he believes that everyone needs to just give it their all, he holds people accountable. texting them in the middle of the night things like,
It's 3 a.m. Where are you?
and then finally, in 2006, the rocket is ready. The engines ignite, the flames pour from the thrusters, and then 33 seconds after the launch, it explodes into a white-hot ball of capitalistic failure.
This would have been game over were it not for the government-funded COTS space program, which was apparently captivated by this gnarly explosion and awarded like $400 million to Musk to develop the Dragon spacecraft. The
Old
Falcon
Uncle
9.
Sam to the rescue again.
Thank God for government assistance. We made a joke during the montage about Elon being a misogynist, and unfortunately, that was us understating the situation. SpaceX's culture is completely horrifying for everyone there. Elon cracks the whip on the male employees and apparently has built an entire ecosystem around harassing the shit out of the female employees. Trigger warning, fast forward to
12 minutes, 52 seconds.
SpaceX strongly encourages flight attendants for Elon's plane to get licensed as massage therapists. They pay for this effort and go to the classes on their own time, of course. One flight attendant said that she took the leap and became a massage therapist, and in 2016, Musk summoned her for a massage. When she entered the room, she was greeted by a nearly naked Elon, which is repulsive, who undressed and began propositioning her about halfway through the massage. He offered to buy her horse, but she stayed steadfast and continued refusing Elon's advances. Not only that, she finished giving the massage, and I feel like that was taking the power back a little. Oh, God, I bet Elon felt emasculated by that shit.
I can only hope.
Dude, yeah. The massage ended, and in the coming weeks, her hours were cut back, and she was ultimately terminated. So she did what only a few muster up the courage to do, and she took his big, stupid, river corpse-looking ass to court and got $250,000 out of him.
Hell yeah. So, 3 things to think about here. 1, harassment accusations are like roaches. If one makes it out, it means that there's a million of them buried back there. Second, Musk didn't pay the money. The shareholders did that. So if you're invested, you are paying for his sexual misconduct, not him. And third, he didn't learn his fucking lesson. That same year, SpaceX fired 18 employees who were just begging Elon to stop being such a creep. Also, what fucking company hires massage therapists for their fucking executives? That is...
Ew, right?
Yeah, that is just asking for a terrible lawsuit, which they got, but
They got
anyway.
their asses whooped. And if you're looking at this bullshit and giving him the Donald Trump excuse, which we've all heard, I don't like the guy, but you can't deny he's a good businessman. Yes, I can. I can deny that.
He and Donald Trump are just trash-ass businessmen.
Yeah.
And monsters. The Elon method would explode 2 more rockets and burn several million more dollars before he finally gets a shuttle into space in 2008, which, by the way, is something that the US government did in the 60s.
This was a do-or-die moment for SpaceX, and Gwynne Shotwell was able to leverage this success and an existing relationship with Mike Griffin, who is now at NASA, to get a Commercial Resupply Services, or CRS, contract, which by some estimates accounted for 85% of SpaceX's funding. They launched one more Falcon before retiring the model, saying that using it wasn't a viable business.
Yeah, so not only was SpaceX not a profitable business, it was barely a business at all.
Yeah.
15% of the money was coming from somewhere else other than Uncle Sam. To put that into perspective, government funding represents less than 1% of NPR's budget. The way SpaceX works is it builds a rocket with NASA money and then hits the private sector with this shit. Like, the fact that Elon Musk is so pro-privatization and like pro-business is hilarious when he is literally just suckling on the teat of Uncle Sam throughout his entire career.
I feel like I'm really talking a lot about peanut allergies, but did you have that friend as a kid who had a peanut allergy who always used to say, "No, I love peanut butter," and it's like, you shouldn't say shit like that. So, between its founding in April of this year, NASA has awarded SpaceX $15.3 billion in contracts.
Woo!
Elon, Mr. Hyper Privatization, was still asking the government for another $885 million for Starlink like earlier this year. We're paying for this, and not just with our tax dollars, by the way.
Yeah, so each time that Elon shoots a load into space, there's a risk that all that junk gets stuck in orbit. And there is currently a shitload of Elon's junk stuck in orbit.
There's the looming possibility that space debris moving around the Earth creates a cascading event that destroys everything we have in orbit, sending us into the Stone Age and preventing space exploration for like years or centuries. Astronomers say that while the chances are low at present, 10 new pieces of debris make this event 100 times more likely. Now, Elon stated that SpaceX has accounted for this risk, but without regulations to stop him from doing whatever the hell he wants, there's a non-zero chance he sends a fucking car up there just for laughs.
Spoiler alert, he is going to shoot a fucking car up there. In 2018, Elon Musk launched the first Tesla Roadster into space. It's a pretty little red car with this nice little carbon feature on the hood. Just beautiful piece of machinery.
Sweet, yeah.
Yeah, this shit's a fucking rabbit hole, and we'll get back there in a couple minutes. But getting back to SpaceX, what we have here, as of the car launch in 2018, is a NASA space program, except every venture has to survive the old Elon spin. This is not the privatization of space. The pointy rocket thing from earlier is apparently real. Yeah. And worse yet, it happened when NASA was funding the effort. Elon saw some piece of media where rockets were pointier and apparently decided it would be funny if the SpaceX rockets were also pointy. As far as we can tell, these are the two choices.
Choice 1, disregard evidence that suggests that he never got a physics degree and assume he used his knowledge from that degree to teach himself rocket science. Figure he devotes some significant portion of his supposed 100-hour work week to designing rockets, and figure he fills in the cracks with Twitter or whatever. Choice 2, look at the evidence we've offered up to this point. This was not a feasible business until big government steps in. Elon is a man-child with a blank check from NASA. He looms over a few desks between tweets to suggest meme-friendly ideas, brutally underfunds HR, harps at subordinates, and does an interview here and there to soak up the limelight. We'll talk about SpaceX more in the next episode, but for now, that's a wrap.
And now we're going to move to part 2, Tesla.
So in 2004, when Elon invests, Tesla's being run by Martin Eberhard, whose name I hope I'm not mispronouncing, and Mark Tarpenning. And at this point, Tesla is in stealth mode. No one's heard of him yet. But pretty soon after Elon invests, he begins trying to position himself as this visionary founder, a role that was already hard-earned by Martin Eberhard. In tweets from just last year, Elon described his role looking back as head of production, leading the design of the original Roadster. And this is weird, because according to Eberhard, during Eberhard's tenure at Tesla, Musk was just chairman of the board. He would come to the board meetings each month, and that was sort of it. He wasn't like in the weeds with the engineers. He didn't even have an office at Tesla. He was LARPing.
Yeah, so to put this into perspective with a 2-tiered board system, people can be on boards of companies that they don't work for. You can work for the Bank of America and be on the board at fucking Walmart.
There are websites that match you up with board positions. If one of our more rebellious listeners wanted to, there's a non-zero chance they could wind up being a board member at some huge bank.
To Radbill's point, being chairman of the board is about as far away as you can be from being in the weeds with the people who are actually developing a product.
As a result of all of Elon's pushing, they, for whatever reason, allowed him to unveil the Tesla Roadster on July 19th of 2006 at a relatively small event. This was Tesla presenting itself to the public really for the first time.
Which is quite a concession from Eberhard and Tarpenning. But I can only imagine that Elon was just so goddamn annoying that they were like, fuck it, it's not that big of an event, it's whatever, just let the guy do it.
Let him pull the curtain off the car, who gives a shit? Despite Elon's unveiling of the Tesla, the press still applauded Eberhard as the innovator, and this infuriated Elon Musk. Apparently, anytime Elon wasn't mentioned in an article about Tesla, he would call Eberhard screaming. A month after the unveiling, Elon posted the top secret master plan blog post where he muses over these grand plans for Tesla and how the Roadster is just the first step. We're going to bring these cars to everyone. He basically just explains Martin's vision for Tesla and strongly implies that it's his own. Also, he plugs Solar City as a partner of Tesla.
Yeah, more to come on that. This dude, like, he's just a fucking, like, coked out frat boy with dumb ideas that somehow he tries to make into fucking reality.
The Russians had him pegged. He was a stupid rich kid who was trying to play spaceman.
Yeah.
Finally, a year and 5 days later, while Eberhard was out of town, Elon convinced the board to vote him out of the CEO position, claiming that Eberhard was holding up production of the Roadster and was responsible for a ton of operational issues. Elon apparently calls Eberhard to let him know, and he's all nervous and shit.
Yeah, these rich nerds talk such a fucking mean game, but they hate confrontation. This is just Bill Gates trying to oust a cancer-ridden Paul Allen who catches him in the act. I think Zuck is the only exception as of right now.
Zuck just looks like he has PTSD. He looks like he's been turning his body into a weapon, and he's going to go back to his hometown and accidentally kill the shit out of his high school bully. Anyway, a few months later, Eberhard's replacement is finally found in... Oh, buddy, I'm going to mispronounce your name too. I'm so sorry. I hope you're not listening. Zaev Drory, who's largely credited with bringing the Roadster from prototype to launch. Before any Roadsters are delivered, Zaev gets kicked to the curb, and Musk takes the helm in 2008, firing 25% of the staff.
Yeah, other than firing people, it doesn't sound like Elon really did a ton here.
This sucks, but that's also going to be a trend. It's like government assistance and fucking firing people.
Is Elon Musk a welfare queen?
Oh! Big burn! In 2009, Martin brought Elon's bitch ass to court for this shit, claiming that Elon Musk stole his thunder by declaring himself the founder of Tesla in interviews, and accused him of wrongfully blaming Eberhard for production delays, crashing Elon's Tesla, and a laundry list of other misdeeds.
Which, fair, right?
Yeah, these are things you sue someone for.
This isn't just courtroom drama. This is someone clearly wronging someone else.
He's like, yeah, you ruined my life?
In this myriad of lawsuits, Eberhard raises two pretty interesting questions. The first, Eberhard essentially asks, so where's my Tesla? So Eberhard's whole thing is that he wanted to prove that a car could be fun to drive and not pollute, and the first Roadster was going to be his trophy of that accomplishment that he worked for. So where was it? Mm-hmm. Well, that first Roadster went to Elon Musk. It was beautiful. A deep red with a carbon fiber bit on the hood. Pretty interesting customization. And for those who are wondering, yes, this is Mark's car as we understand it. And Elon launches it into space in about a decade.
Okay. So, Elon's a shithead. This is pretty funny.
It's funny, but it's so goddamn petty.
It's funny in a petty way.
It's like I stole your company and then I launched your crowning achievement into space.
I launched your trophy into space. No one will ever be able to get it there.
This is a villain origin story.
Some Lex Luthor shit.
Yeah, if someone did this to me, I would not be okay afterwards. The second question that Eberhard raises is, did Elon ever get a physics degree, and did he ever even get into Stanford? So we talked about this in the first episode. And many believe that the partners at X.com effectively bought him this degree, that he didn't complete it while he was at school, but they got it for him after the fact, and he's been lying all along.
Yeah.
We don't know that. We can't say for certain.
There are some really fishy fucking details.
We honestly just don't have time to delve into that detail because he does so much other shittier stuff.
One day, someone's going to blow a whistle, and we're going to be fucking here for it, man.
Oh.
I want to hear about that one and the rocket science thing. If someone's got a whistle to blow on it, just let us know.
Dude, just shoot me an email.
Let us know. Shoot us an email. Yeah. Put it on Reddit, baby. We'll put it everywhere. We'll spread that shit around.
Yes.
The suit between Martin and Elon settled. And a key stipulation is that Musk and two other involved parties could legally call themselves co-founders of Tesla. So Elon is now a CEO and a co-founder, but he's got an issue. It's now 2009, and his "I'm going to spend all my money and change the world" pitch ain't going to work no good, no mo. He can't woo investors the same way, and according to Elon, money's a little tight.
Yeah, dude, this is the aftermath of 2008. All venture capital money is dried the fuck up.
Yeah.
So he can't just be an idiot with a dream.
Yeah, he can't be like, look, you can email people money. Can I have a McLaren F1, please?
God, he did kind of do that. So while bitching about the fact that money is tight, Elon kind of takes a jab at Eberhard, making a point of describing that Eberhard came from wealth. And Elon said, quote, God, I can't say this without fucking laughing. He likes to play the poor inventor card. God, that's Australian. What the fuck?
Crikey. He likes to play the inventor card. The poor inventor card. But was rich all along. As far as I can tell, he invented nothing, mate. Sorry.
Jesus.
I've been working on the Australian accent. I wanted to bust.
So I feel like South African is like a middle ground between Australian and English, and I just can't nail it.
Oh, it's hard.
Elon makes a point describing the wealth that Eberhard had apparently come from, saying, quote, he likes to play the poor inventor card, but he was rich all along, and as far as I can tell, invented nothing. Bro. Like,
come on.
Isn't there a saying about glass houses and stones?
Or pots and kettles that are all black or something?
It couldn't be more like self-aware wolves.
So there's some truth to what Elon is implying with this quote. Elon, at this point, supposedly brought himself to cash poverty to avoid selling a stake in Tesla. And what I mean by that is he spent all of his money. He couldn't get money after all anyways because of the times. So to survive, he was reduced to borrowing money from his wealthy friends.
Yeah, he couldn't get money from venture capitalist firms or the government, so he had to call his friends. And during this period, poor Elon was able to scrape by, living on just $200,000 per month. Fortunately, he was still able to travel via private jet.
Let me tell you, it's a good thing he's used to sleeping on couches. His salvation in this cash crunch was brought about by the U.S. government. A year before Musk took the helm, Congress passed a $25 billion loan program for the Department of Energy. A chunk of this was going to be allocated to the production of electric cars, and Musk went after it, as well as seeking investments from larger car makers.
He was all over the place doing the call your senator and let him know that we should be awarded these loan stuff. Like, he was fucking grassrooting this campaign.
Yeah. He was seedy lobbyisting this shit.
Yeah.
He's also doing his best to get investments from the big car companies like Daimler, but at this time, Tesla had 1,500 cars on the road. Their size isn't going to be winning them any awards or, crucially, getting them any investments. But right. Daimler indicated that a vote of confidence from the government would be key to earning their investment. Unfortunately for Elon, the government wasn't going to award loans if they didn't see cooperation and acceptance of Tesla among the larger car manufacturers. So Elon's trapped here. What does he do?
Oh, well, he lies, of course.
He announces Tesla was awarded this loan before he ever even applied for the loan, you see. As such, Daimler invests, and this gives the government the confidence needed to invest in the company. So on 4/20/2010, the government loaned Tesla I'm playing into Elon's fucking games here. On April 20th, 2010, the government...
Because we're adults and that date means nothing
We're
to us.
grown-ups. We smoke weed every day,
Yeah,
Elon.
exactly. It's not a fucking event for us.
The government loans Tesla $465 million at a low interest rate to accelerate the production of affordable, fuel-efficient electric cars. We'll see later on that Musk makes a habit of saying he's secured funding when he actually fucking hasn't.
Yeah, that will become a thing.
Yeah.
But, so, quick note. Uncle Sam had the best of intentions here.
Mhm.
The idea was to loan Tesla $465 million to make affordable electric cars for the average working American, as well as to develop powertrains that could be shared with other car manufacturers to ultimately catalyze the adoption of electric vehicles and, of course, to create jobs. And these were stipulations in the loan. So when Elon was met with these terms, as one might expect, he said, well, sure. And according to Tesla's blog and a Business Wire article, the government expected Tesla to use the $365 million to produce and assemble the Model S.
Yep, it's supposed to be a $49,000 all-electric vehicle that's cheap to maintain and travels 300 miles to a charge. For the powertrain development program, Tesla began partnering with Toyota and was supplying them with powertrains for a future electric RAV4. Toyota would also get the opportunity to learn about Tesla's incredible culture and would eventually invest $50 million for 3% in Tesla's IPO.
By the way, I love how enamored these Toyota people sound with Tesla's approach, which is literally just throw shit at a wall.
In some cases, very literally. We're very pragmatic. We get a lot of standards and specifications, and then we build a prototype and test it. Tesla is a lot different. They get the standards and specifications and then change it on the fly.
Yeah, they're just winging it eternally.
They're yes-anding over and over and over again until they have a fucking car.
Which shows. But as an aside, Tesla and Toyota eventually stopped working together, and Toyota began selling its shares a few short years later, citing that Toyota's safety-first engineering was going up against Tesla's risk-taking approach.
So, okay, safety-first investment strategies are things that people can critique this way. You can cite that as a creative difference. But safety-first engineering approaches is not something that I want car companies deferring on.
Yeah, for all of you out there who are like, well, this is just a new school Silicon Valley disruptor approach versus the bureaucratic approach of an older, crustier brand. From a quality standpoint, Tesla's approach sucks. They're bad cars.
To Money's point, the Model S was given an overall Consumer Report score of 62. That's out of 100. And Tesla was placed 19th out of 24 car brands. In 2020, Inside EVs published an article showing that every Tesla they tested produced a range that was at least 19% lower than their EPA rating.
I just want to know who was lower than Tesla in that 19 out of 24 car brands. Was it like Geo or like Suzuki?
Dude, right?
Or like
a lawnmower going down a big hill. Hard to say. So, all right, people complain about the panels misaligning in Teslas, which I feel like the panels in my car misalign because I don't take good care of my car. But
your car at least doesn't let rain in.
Yeah.
And dude, I have watched so many videos because honestly, there was a time way long ago where I was like, what if a Tesla? You know, what if? Mm-hmm. And then I saw these videos that like, they're shit cars.
Yeah, what do you do when you like run through the rain and like close the door on your Tesla and it's just like still sprinkling water all over you? Like,
just get a goldfish for your cup holder? I don't know. It's constantly wet.
Get used to sitting water in your fucking car. When Elon unveiled the Cybertruck, as far as we can tell, he just took a stab at hitting the thing with a hammer, like maybe it can resist a hammer, and it couldn't.
I love that. I just love that.
This is the problem with the tech startup mindset being used in pretty much any business. These companies are often the first in their field, which means they get this grace period where the product sucks.
Yep.
And it's terrible at the thing it's supposed to do.
Oh, dude, so many fucking companies have risen and fallen on this idea. Like Netflix spent years being the only streaming service with garbage on their platform. I mean, people forget the late night bad movies that riddled their content. Fucking Uber and Airbnb and Peloton. Fuck, you can even put Theranos in there.
Yeah.
This mentality breeds bad products.
Companies in startup mode take stabs at doing crimes to scale all the time.
Yeah, I mean, look at Elon. Allegedly.
Yes. Couldn't agree more. Allegedly.
All right, but anyway, back to 2013.
It's 2013, and Elon suddenly pays back that massive government loan and makes a huge spectacle of it. The thing is, he wasn't paying it back 10 years early because he didn't need it. He was paying it back because the terms were too steep, and he couldn't produce a car for the everyman and didn't want to help other manufacturers. So he lied to get funding, and then paid it back early so he didn't have to do the things that would actually help the average American.
Yeah.
Toyota only wound up selling 2,500 electric RAV4s, so they're out. And for the next model year, the cost of a Model S shot up $10,000. Maybe there are some people listening saying, well, what about the Model 3? But at this point, that car was still no guarantee, and it was 3 years off. In one fell swoop, Tesla has broken almost every promise that it made in exchange for that money. The cars aren't affordable to buy, and on average, they cost 22% more to maintain each year.
Yeah, Elon confirms our suspicions in a tweet on November 26, 2021, when he said, "We learned our lesson with a $465 million DOE loan received in 2010-2011. Onerous terms exceed value of money received. That's why we paid it back so early, despite an early repayment penalty."
Yeah, all Tesla has left at this point after repayment to proclaim is that they are, in theory, hastening the world's transition to sustainable energy, and they keep this ruse going for a long time. Speaking of 2013 in the government, there was another interesting occurrence that has raised eyebrows since.
Yeah, so in 2013, Elon did what Elon does best. He made a brand new shiny promise: battery swap technology for Teslas. So essentially, in order to save time, Tesla owners could swap their batteries as opposed to recharging them. However, again, on brand for Elon, he never followed through, and the technology still doesn't really exist. So why pump it up, Elon? Well, in the book Ludicrous, An Unvarnished Story of Tesla Motors, Ed Niedermeyer, butchering your name, presents a theory. In 2013, California revised its zero emissions vehicle credit system so that long range ZEVs that were able to charge 80% in under 15 minutes earned almost twice as many credits as vehicles that didn't.
Yeah. Overnight, Tesla's 85 kilowatt hour Model S went from earning 4 credits per vehicle to 7. To earn this dramatic increase in credits, Tesla needed to prove to CARB that such rapid refueling events were possible. They did this by demonstrating a battery swap on just one vehicle. And in that action, Tesla nearly doubled the ZEV credits earned by its entire fleet, even if none of them actually used the swap capability. Again, a huge component of Tesla's income are these tax credits. They're going to get what they can, and then they're going to turn around and fucking sell them. We'll get to that later.
That does huge things for Tesla's financial statements.
Yeah.
And so much of Tesla's profitability, or, well, so much of Tesla's income is based on these credits. So doubling the amount of credits they get doubles a huge part of their income statement. So that's a big deal.
Yeah. Okay, so we're jumping ahead a little. 2016 is a big year for Tesla for a few reasons. Firstly, towards the end of that year, Elon Musk tweets a video of one of those Teslas driving and parking itself at Tesla's HQ in Menlo Park. This is the future. Towards the end of June of that year as well, Elon announces that Tesla is expanding its product line in an exciting new way. They're acquiring the solar panel maker SolarCity, in which Elon is an early investor and also, as it happens, the chairman of the company.
Yeah, Tesla stock drops 10% as a result of this acquisition. And now the Tesla story and the SolarCity story become just too intertwined. We're going to have to start talking about SolarCity.
Yeah, it's like Rome, where it's just like crammed into Italy. Because Elon isn't intimately involved with the day-to-day at SolarCity, we're going to keep this one short. Remember, he spent $10 million on SolarCity in 2006. And since then, he's pretty much just been pumping money into the company while playing chairman of the board. We've decided to consult the magnificent Wikipedia for a Wikipedia lightning round. Wikipedia! Donate $3 if you can.
2012 to 2019, SolarCity had installed solar panels on the roofs of 240 Walmart stores, and fires were starting on these roofs. Walmart claimed that this was the result of widespread negligence, untrained labor, and prioritizing profit over safety. That sounds like Elon.
That does sound like Elon. April 29th, 2016, Preet Bharara of the Southern District of New York began an investigation into the Buffalo Billion Initiative and found that SolarCity has been benefiting from a bid rigging scheme.
August 2016, a 2011 counterfeit scheme which awarded tax credits to SolarCity and its investors is unearthed during the Solar by Decree project. These tax credits allowed SolarCity and its investors to offset their taxes.
March 30th of 2017, this one's a big one. SolarCity is singled out in a request for Oregon Attorney General to investigate claims that SolarCity misled consumers about costs, tax credits, and energy savings in relation to the solar panels. SolarCity and its accountants were required to pay back $13 million to the state of Oregon after it was determined that SolarCity tried to more than double the cost of 14 commercial solar projects to qualify for higher tax credits. Phony and misleading documents were identified, a bribery scheme was discovered which involved an energy consultant and a manager at the state energy department, and one of their solar panel suppliers employed local prisoners to keep costs down.
Yeesh! In May 2017, the SEC began an investigation into Sunrun and SolarCity's failure to disclose canceled contracts.
June 2017, Vermont Public Service Board found that SolarCity was implementing solar projects in Vermont without getting the required approval.
December of 2017, SolarCity settles an investigation to their fair market value calculations with the Treasury Department, and they have to pony up $29.5 million.
The company signed contracts with 14 homeowners right before their home was foreclosed on and have been named in 139 lawsuits regarding residential foreclosure actions.
Yikes.
So, after hearing this laundry list of scandals, you might be thinking, why on earth would Tesla want to buy this flaming pile of dog shit? Well, we have our theories. But to be fair to our CEO friend, let's try to give you the Benny of the D. So, as of the acquisition, Elon is the largest shareholder in SolarCity, which is run by his cousins and has been collapsing since 2014. In March of 2016, the same year of the acquisition, Spacex also invested $90 million into SolarCity. There's an email exchange between Elon and the CEO of SolarCity contemplating options for solving a liquidity crisis before the next shareholder meeting. He presents fake solar roofing at Universal Studios just before said shareholder meeting to try to improve sentiment. So there's a problem, by the way. Boy, has this been a pattern. Elon's first solution is just, lie about it. Despite promises to the contrary, after the acquisition, solar deployment plunges, and Elon repurposes the staff for Model 3 production and operations. There was a ton of undisclosed liability that Elon tried to cover up. He tried to cover up some of these issues by enacting Project Titan. They sent crews all over the country to secretly repair the very flammable components in the rooftop panels. Again, he just fucking lied. There's so much of this. Now we hear you saying, gee, rad and money, it sure seems like Elon used Tesla to bail out another one of his companies to the detriment of Tesla shareholders. Well, the shareholders got a pretty similar feeling, as it turns out. So they took the board of directors of Tesla to court for being stupid and just bowing to Musk. And in 2020, a judge approved a $60 million settlement against all the directors on Tesla's board, except for Elon. In Musk's defense, a judge found him innocent, saying that the company wound up being worth it. So,
How?
Why? How? What? What is this?
Yeah, that was pretty stupid and pretty illegal, but I guess it worked.
The shareholders had to settle for not reining in Musk's absurd behavior. Like, what the fuck's going on here?
That sentence. We sued the other members of the board for bowing to Musk's influence. But we're not suing Musk.
Yeah, you gotta keep that dog on a leash. But he's cool, though.
The guy providing the influence, not culpable at all.
Yeah. Okay, so in 2018, the Boring Company spun off from SpaceX. Tesla lost $1 billion and was $10 billion in debt, and Elon Musk decided it was time to tie all of his future Tesla income to the company's performance. In March of 2018, it was revealed that Elon achieved board approval for a pay package consisting of option grants valued at $2.6 billion, which was a lot. That's a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
And that is where we'll pick up for our next episode.
Thanks again for listening, gang.
Thanks so much for listening. Check out our Reddit. Email us if we got some shit wrong or if you want us to include more shit in the next one. We love you all. And
Goodbye.
goodbye.